A high-profile political figure is assassinated in broad daylight, in front of a live streaming audience. Almost immediately, the investigative priority shifted from documenting the crime to ensuring the public stopped asking questions. Within hours, heavy machinery arrived at the scene. Authorities didn't just mark the site, they ordered the excavation of exactly 10 inches of topsoil from the precise location where the victim fell. Standard ballistics don't justify moving tons of earth. If a bullet hits the ground, you dig out the lead. But if you need to contain the traceable chemical residue of a directional explosive, protocol demands the immediate removal of the top layer of soil. The government's next directive arrived less than a day later. A separate crew was ordered to cover the freshly dug pit with permanent paving stones, sealing the site before any independent ballistics expert could reach the scene. Once the physical evidence is buried under concrete, the investigation ends. At that point, the official narrative is no longer open to debate. It becomes the only reality the public is permitted to see. The official report claims a sniper fired a .30-06 round from a distant rooftop. But physics presents a problem. A high-velocity round striking a human neck at that range does not stop inside the body. There must be an exit wound. Forensic analysts point to a PETN shape charge concealed inside a standard lapel microphone. This creates a directional blast moving upward from the chest. Broadcast footage supports this. Slowed down, the victim's necklace snaps outward instantly, before impact, completely contradicting a downward strike from a sniper. The physical evidence inside the transport vehicle further undermines the sniper story. Photos from the floorboards show shards of shattered hard plastic, the exact residue found when a heavy-duty road microphone is detonated. Despite frontal trauma, his white shirt remained perfectly clean on the back. There was no exit wound, which definitively rules out a high-powered rifle round passing through the torso. When the physical evidence gathered by the public contradicts the official report, the state relies on media partners to bridge the gap between science and the desired narrative. The discrepancies extend to the witnesses. The security detail, tasked with immediate medical response, provided radically different accounts of the drive to the hospital, failing to agree on whether basic life-saving procedures were even attempted. The victim's widow demonstrated an equally unnatural shift. Within days of the assassination, she bypassed the standard stages of shock to launch a polished corporate-style fundraising campaign for the organization her husband left behind. Crisis PR teams fed the press a medical myth. They claimed his healthy lifestyle created a Superman neck dense enough to stop a bullet mid-flight. This shift toward medicalizing the narrative suggests a deeper level of witness management. When a public figure becomes a liability, handlers are deployed to dictate their behavior, ensure their silence, or oversee their medicalization to prevent unauthorized statements. This dynamic is documented in other high-profile cases. When this artist began speaking against his management, his personal handler explicitly threatened him in writing with forced institutionalization and permanent chemical sedation. Total control of an assassination story involves a multi-layered approach. The physical crime scene is paved over, the legal testimony is scripted, and any witnesses who deviate from the official line are managed through clinical or financial pressure. The search for a motive leads to the highest levels of international finance. Weeks before the shooting, a private meeting took place in the Hamptons, involving key figures from a foreign intelligence network. Sources indicate an offer of over $100 million was made during that meeting. This massive international payout was contingent on one factor. The victim had to pledge his organization's total ideological loyalty to a foreign state. The specific demand was non-negotiable. The victim was expected to use his platform to voice unconditional public support for the annexation of foreign territories. He refused the money. Shortly after that meeting, he banned that foreign leader from ever appearing on his media platforms again, cutting off their primary channel to his audience. At this level of global influence, refusing a billion-dollar syndicate is never a simple disagreement. It is treated as an act of war that requires a permanent solution. This localized erasure of evidence follows a pattern seen at the highest federal level. Whenever a political event threatens the status quo, The investigative process is systematically redirected to block transparency. We have seen this same playbook used after the Pennsylvania assassination attempt. Despite the national significance, the investigation was quickly stalled and obscured by the federal agencies involved. However, the speed of these cover-ups often creates its own evidence. When the state has to pave over a crime scene and script witnesses in real time, the public can see the mechanics of the shadow establishment working to hide the truth. This reliance on overt censorship and physical erasures demonstrates a lack of genuine stability. A power structure that has to lie about the basic laws of physics is one that has lost its ability to lead through consent. The live broadcast of the event created a permanent record that the official reports can no longer reconcile. As the gap between the footage and the narrative widens, the public is forced to judge the investigators by their actions rather than their words.